First, let me say that I asked to have this meeting delayed by only 6 hours so that I could see the clients I had appointments for. By your refusal, I had to delay or cancel 27 surgeries, including removing the bullet from a dog's leg and removing a ruptured eye for a kitten. So I guess the world can see how much you care for animals. Second, let me address the issue of removing Allison Hedgecott as secretary. Just a little over a month ago, the board voted on this issue. The vote was unanimously in favor of keeping Allison. What has changed? Oh, Allison got suspended from her job as an animal caretaker for disobeying an order and going to rescue 21 wolves. But wait, I have been told repeatedly by the president, Shelley Blackley, that it is an HR issue, so it shouldn't have a bearing on her position as secretary. And by the way, as far as I know, we have not gotten the minutes for the last meeting, which was not her responsibility. Third, let me address the issue of animal safety. I've said that I would not support Shelley Blackley's suspension of our most experienced caretaker, Allison Hedgecott. I said I would suspend my provision of animal care for Noah's Ark's animals until Allison was reinstated. This has been interpreted as my withdrawing my services permanently. As predicted, there was an emergency with one of our animals, a capuchin monkey. His care was delayed over 24 hours by Shelley's short-sighted decision to suspend Allison without making sure there was adequate provisions for animal care during her absence. And yes, I said I would suspend my services for the duration of Allison's suspension, but since her suspension was suspended, I did help out on this case. I sure wish we could have done this on Monday afternoon instead of being here until 9 o'clock last night. Now, as to the issue of my presence on the board, I have provided my services free of charge to Noah's Ark for over 20 years. I have operated rescue vet services for over 10 years, donating all proceeds to Noah's Ark. In the past year, that amounted to something close to $200,000. If the majority of the board votes to remove me, it will be a clear indication of how much I am valued. I've already made inquiries as to how I can set up rescue vet services in another location. This means you will have no veterinarian of record, which will cancel your licenses with DNR and USDA and likely your liability insurance until another veterinarian is hired. Shelley claims she has one, but if so, why didn't she call that vet for Calvin? You will have to close your gates at least until you find another veterinarian. I predict it will be hard to find one at all, never mind for free. Please see the quote below indicating that Shelley considers my position on the board to be an important part of my value for Noah's Ark. And the quote from Shelley is in an email about Calvin. Please notify Doc T. I understand she doesn't want to be our vet going forward, but right now she is a board member and has medications on property. If she cares for the animals, she will tell you what the animal needs. If she cares for the animals. Okay.
That's such an insult.
If I leave, all controlled substances on the property will have to be destroyed. I can't take them with me, and I can't leave them. That will leave you with no emergency drugs in the case of another unexpected incident. I don't know what will happen with the other drugs, as you can't sell them, and I will be canceling my accounts, so you probably can't return them. So financially, you will be dealing with the loss of income from rescue vet services, the cost of hiring another vet, and the cost of losing and replacing all the drugs needed for the animals on property, assuming you will have animals on property, since you will probably be closed. I know someone on the board will say, I do not respond to threats. This is not a threat. This is simply laying out the facts. Since that statement was made by Lynn previously, let me address Lynn directly. If you will detail what part of what has been published is inaccurate, she's the one that sent out that canned email to everybody. If you will detail what part of what has been published is inaccurate, we'll be happy to provide documentation. Two phrases I hear often from this board are fiscal responsibility and how much you care for Noah's Ark and its animals. So here is the threat. If I do not remain on the board, this document will be made public. It will be made clear to anyone who wishes to read it that you do not care about what happens to Noah's Ark and its animals, and you also don't care about your fiscal responsibility to Noah's Ark. Of course, that will be a moot point since Noah's Ark will most likely cease to exist. So,